Manners and respect. Go ahead and mark yourself present by hitting the like button. Family. I recently did a video talking about Trump and why Jamaicans support Trump. Even, black people in a whole. And I did a video on that. We get to understand where some of the people in brain is and where some of the people in mind is. But you cannot stop nobody from decide which side them they on. But you can't stop it from wonder either what some people are thinking on the brain. They on one side there where some people, when they left the rally with them see one want to head. Well, go and they big up yourself. So I'm going to play. I want to share this today. I'm going to play something for you guys to listen. And this is coming from, because some of them on the wrong side of history, I'm going to tell you, say the support for Donald Trump the other day was for money. Some of you, because the stock market was up, bank book looking good. Do you care about the baby at the border? No. Care about yourself. But some people, it was also for religious reason. With gay rights, abortion rights. Those are the stuff that people go for up here. It was about the character of a man. He's decent. There's not one man can tell me, say, he was a decent man. He's loving. He's kind. He got integrity. No. We do them a bit of that. And some people hurt, but I love to see it. But now I'm going to play something for you. This is coming from a white man. This brother I know I going to speak. He was a white supremacist. Yes, he was a racist. He didn't like us. This brother name is Russell Ellis. A brave white brother. You have to give him credit. He's a brave white brother named Russell Ellis. Was raised in North Carolina. Where racism, was the order of the day. Was just casual. That's how this brother was raised. Him say racism was a culture. Was in North Carolina. He is now reformed. The man changed, transformed. He's on the other side where he see people as people. He step out of where raised. And now I'm teaching white people how to deconstruct racism. He's now teaching white people how to deconstruct racism. So as a black man, I mean, you're a brother talk like this, a white man, taking us on the inside, how they feel about us, and me going to listen. And just go along with the video I just do the other day. To edify my people, say, wow, now the boy, an idiot. When I say I'm shot oneself on the foot, you sit up on the wrong side. All right, people, let's listen to this brother. And he's a brave brother, and I really commend him for coming out. Brave. Not brave way like this. Russell Ellis. So let's listen to this, people. Get to the popcorn. And let's listen. About 17 minutes. We're going to listen to the fullest. All right, guys. Interesting. Very interesting.
When Donald Trump became president, America witnessed a rise in white nationalism, in hate crimes, and in divisive conspiracy theories. But a lot of people thought that was a new phenomenon, that it was somehow reactionary behavior to Donald Trump's rhetoric and ideology. The fact is that isn't true. The fact is, it's by divisive conspiracy theories and by a long history of white supremacy in this country. Conspiracies of war against white America. Conspiracies of the government attacking white Christian America. These conspiracies have existed in white communities across America for decades. Donald Trump simply provided legitimacy to these conspiracies by using key and designated language in his campaign that caused white America to circle in a shark frenzy and cast their votes. Now, how do I know this? How can I say this so confidently? Because I come from a white little town in North Carolina where I learned white supremacy. Racism is so casual where I'm from, it's culture. I'll say it again, racism is so casual, it's culture. And that culture breeds the next generation of white supremacists. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about that cycle of white supremacy that has yet to be broken. I want to talk about the silent complicity of white America whenever white supremacy is challenged. I want to talk about the ignorance of white America as it pertains to identifying and stopping white supremacy. Because you see, white supremacy is the single most dangerous thing in America to anybody who doesn't like me. But every time white supremacy rears its ugly head, we treat it like it's a new dog doing new tricks. No, the same dog, same tricks. And I'm here to tell you that if we don't change how we treat the dog, it's going to keep doing the same trick. It's going to keep biting. I was raised in the mountains of western North Carolina in a white little neck of the woods, often referred to as a holler. I grew up with the Confederate flag in my front yard, and my neighbor had one in his, and this neighbor in his, and the guy down the road, everywhere. That flag was a sign of our heritage. That's what I was told. What heritage, might you ask? A heritage of simple, hard-working Christian folk. Patriots who love their country and their neighbor. As long as your neighbor looks like you. Because I'm here to tell you, I didn't have any black neighbors. In fact, you had to go about 20, 30 minutes down the road before you got to the black neighborhood, or where I'm from, they refer to as the bad part of town. You see, racism, where I'm from, is so casual, it's hidden in plain sight. I didn't know it existed. The N-word was daily vocabulary. I didn't even know that was a bad word. Growing up, I learned that people who sag their pants are thugs. Growing up, I learned if you live in government-assisted housing, it's because you're too lazy to get a job and work hard like us.
Once there was an ordinary family.
Growing up, I learned that these people get food stamps and sell drugs. You see, one day my dad was going on a rant about just that when a guy knocked at my door. So I went and let him in. The guy went and sat with my dad, handed my dad some money. My dad weighed out the right amount of marijuana and gave it back to him, you know, a drug deal. And then my dad took the money from that drug deal and he put it in his wallet, right next to some red, yellow, blue, green food coupons. You may have heard of them. They're called food stamps. Did my dad see the hypocrisy of us having food stamps and selling drugs when he's telling me about these people getting food stamps and selling drugs? No. Because my dad would explain it like this: son, I work hard and I pay taxes, so I deserve these food stamps. And I don't make enough money and I want to provide for you children, so I got to sell these drugs to make ends meet. You see the hypocrisy of that. The cognitive dissonance is cringeworthy. How could my dad, an otherwise intelligent man, be so ignorant? Easy. It's a toxic cycle of white supremacy and white ideology that has survived the test of time. You see, during slavery, only rich white people could afford to enslave other people. But to prevent the poor white people from empathizing with the plight of enslaved black people, what the rich white people did was this. They told the poor white people, hey, if you work hard, you can be like us. And what they did was they gave them management positions on the plantation, called them overseers. That way they were more important than the enslaved black people. The idea was simple. You might be poor, but hey, at least you ain't black. That ideology, that mindset has survived the test of time. Fast forward to my dad sitting in the living room ranting about these people with food stamps and drugs while selling drugs and using food stamps. I can hear it. We might be poor, but at least we ain't black.
Learning, people, learning.
This is a cycle. And understanding that cycle, understanding that context, understanding this history is the key to dismantling white supremacy. Breaking that cycle is the key to defeating racism. Because I want you to understand, and this is very important, that although white America's busy spinning conspiracies of white America being targeted, there's no tangible, quantifiable evidence to justify their case. But ironically, the same people that believe that will refute systemic oppression against the black community when there's tangible, quantifiable evidence to prove it.
For you guys that are tuning in, this is a one-time white supremacist. He was a racist. He's a white man. His name is Russell Ellis, the white brother. In Transform now he might teach white people how to deconstruct, how to stop being racist. He was a racist. Now he's coming out to speak against that. He's speaking against hate, and he's very brave for that. So this is a white man. His name is Russell Ellis. Let's continue to listen, guys. Share this in, people. Very important.
Today, Rafi is taking a ride without worrying.
Want to share it. Very important.
Oppression against the black community when there's tangible, quantifiable evidence to prove it. The United States Department of Justice statistics show a black man's 3 times more likely to be killed by the police than a white man. The United States Sentencing Commission has proven that a black offender will receive a 19% longer sentence on average than a white offender, same crime, same criminal background. A black mother is 4 times more likely to die during childbirth than a white mother. 22% of black Americans live in poverty, only 9% of white Americans live in poverty. If you're a black American in this country, you're 2.5 times more likely to live in an environmental justice neighborhood. That means you're next to a power plant, next to a waste dump, next to a structure that poses significant health risk, regardless of your income. These are irrefutable facts, tangible evidence that shows black America is disproportionately disadvantaged in this country, yet the vast majority of white America calls that government lies. Refuse to believe it exists. But yet somehow we're the ones being targeted. Why? It's easy. Because we have been told by white supremacy that we are the center of the world. If you don't think like me, if you don't dress like me, that's a you problem.
Listen.
If you don't act like me, if you don't believe like me, if you don't do your hair like me, that's a you problem. Most importantly, if your experience is not like mine, well, that's a you problem. It could not possibly be the system that was built by us, for us. I remember when my son was 5 years old, he wanted to play baseball. So I signed him up for the local recreational league team. First things first, we got to go buy a baseball glove. You know, so I take him out, and at the very first store, I ran into a problem I didn't foresee coming. I told my son, I said, pick out whatever glove you want, son. I want you to be happy with your equipment. So he picked out a glove, but then it turns out I couldn't buy that one for him because he's left-handed. And then he picked out another glove, and continually couldn't buy them. He had to settle for his fourth choice because, well, they didn't have any for left-handed players. As a right-handed person, I had never really thought of this. As a right-handed person, I never saw this kind of inconvenience. Now, my son picking out baseball gloves is a far cry from the life and death reality of not being white in America, but it's important to point out that in this America, that was made with white supremacy woven in every fabric of every system, these standards of whiteness have been passed down. It's easy for us as white Americans to not see the pain, the inconvenience, discomfort, and the danger of our non-white fellow Americans that are living in the very same country. I remember when I was 10 years old, I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what does the South will rise again mean? It was on the flag in the front yard. And it was on people's t-shirts and bumper stickers, and everywhere I went, South will rise again. Everybody knew something I didn't know, so I wanted to know what was going on. My dad looked at me and said, son, one day it's going to be illegal to be white in this country. It's going to be illegal to be Christian in this country. It's going to be illegal to be straight in this country. And when that happens, straight white Christian men are going to have to stand up and fight for our freedom just like our forefathers did. And my dad believed that. When he told me that when I was 10 years old, I believed it. So you see, when you juxtapose that ideology with the ramblings of Trump cultists and QAnon conspiracists, you start to see this is not a new phenomenon. These ideas, these conspiracies, these standards of whiteness, they've been around for a long time. My dad believed it, and his dad before him, and he told me when I was 10, 30 years ago. It is important that we understand these cycles and what these toxic ideologies are so that we can fight them, so that we can end them. You understand? The way we talk as white Americans, that's the standard. Dialects like African American vernacular English is considered low class and uneducated.
Listen.
The way we wear our hair, that's the standard. I've never had to change my hairstyle so I can go get a job. My hairstyle's never been banned by an employer's manual. Even the way my parents named me is the standard. I don't have to worry about my name on a resume being the reason that my resume is overlooked.
Speak to it, bro.
All of this is a reality in this country made possible by my white ancestors creating a white system that benefits me. Now, it is worth noting that we've made great progress in the area of civil rights thanks to countless black liberation movements, countless social liberation movements. But even now in 2022, racism and white supremacy still very much exist. I aim to defeat it before I die.
You hear that?
The way I do that, I spent the majority of the last 2 decades trying to understand white supremacy, but more important, trying to understand how it continues to thrive in my community. I came to 3 conclusions that I think are very important. This is the reason that white supremacy stays alive in our country. Number 1, it goes unchecked. Every white person that's listening to this in this room or in this country has heard a joke behind closed doors, or has heard these baseless conspiracy theories that I'm talking about being spread, or has heard about how reverse racism is attacking white America. And as a white person, if you do not call that out, if your family, friends, coworkers are doing these things and you say nothing, you are an accessory to murder. Your silence allows these hateful ideologies, conspiracies, and dangerous rhetoric to continue to fester and be passed down to the next generation of white supremacists. Your silence is quite literally violence. Number 2, lack of education. 99% of white America look at dead in the face right now and say, I'm not a racist. 98% of them couldn't define what racism is. Our entire American education system is whitewashed. Even our history books, they're nothing more than romantic fiction novels in which all the heroes are white. It is our civil responsibility, our duty, to combine our collective voices and demand that our education curriculum be revised, revamped, that our history books tell the truth about the rights and wrongs of yesteryear, so that we can have less wrongs and more rights in the years to come. And number 3, I saved this for last because it's the most important in my book, equity and inclusion. If we aim to dismantle white supremacy, then white Americans must stop treating equity and inclusion as a personal attack on us. There's been tons of legislation that's been passed to demand legal equality. 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, Voting Rights Act of 1865, Voting Rights Act of 1965, Brown versus Board of Education, 1954, Civil Rights Act, 1964. We can make a very long list of legislation. But yet, without equity and inclusion, the problem still exists today. Because you cannot legislate morality. It is incumbent upon us to understand these systems and these standards of whiteness that I've referred to today and how they continue to thrive and survive. We must stop the cycle. In this proverbial right-handed world where everybody who's not white is proverbially left-handed, We must understand that the justice system, the policing system, the education system, the medical system, the financial system, the banking system, the prison system, all these systems are being used against our fellow citizens to oppress and marginalize them. We must have radical ground-up change on every system in America, period. White people admitting that white supremacy exists is not an attack on us. Admitting that our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents created this system to benefit us is not an attack on us. Stop treating it like that. Admit there's a problem and become part of the solution. We must embrace our fellow human beings. The statistics I provided today, these numbers validate the struggle, the reality of not being white in America. Nobody's asking white people to have less or be less. All that's being asked is that our fellow Americans have and be just as much. Now, I could talk for hours on this, but I was only given 15 minutes. So I want to conclude with this. Number one, I implore everybody who heard me say this to look deeper into each one of these topics. But if you're a white person listening to me, then I implore you to do this. Number one, speak up. Without us as white Americans speaking up within our communities and saying no more of the jokes, no more of the let's make fun of other people, no more of these toxic conspiracies. No, let's speak up. My silence will not be compliance in your violence. Until that happens, we can't end white supremacy. Number two, educate yourself. Are you a racist? That's not a yes or no question. Racism is a spectrum. How much do you know about it? Educate yourself. There's so many books, so many great black educators out there that have spoken on this topic. Educate yourself. Dig deeper. Get uncomfortable. And most importantly, educate your children. We got to raise the change we want to see in the world. And then number three, get involved. We as white people have a privilege in this country to walk into a city council, walk into a school board meeting, and our voice has power. Use your privilege for power. Demand equity and inclusion in your local schools. Demand equity and inclusion in your local city council meetings. Demand equity and inclusion in your budget for your city. We got standardized testing in schools, but we don't have standardized resources. Demand it. This is how we help end white supremacy. My name is Russell Ellis, and I was a racist. I'm a reformed racist and white supremacist. If I can do it, you can too. Thanks for listening, and thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
They begin with that and clap. They begin with that and clap. If you want to say, have to give this brother a hand clap because he's honest. Down to the T. People, this brother come from the belly of white supremacy, you know. See him pictured in my thumbnail. He's come from the belly of white supremacy. And to see a brother flip and come out here, try to tell white people, to teach them how to change from those kind of ways. Jaja, me have to give hats off to him. In my last video we do about the Trump and the Sanders stuff. But tell you guys, if it was for good white people like him, slavery wouldn't be abolished. Black Lives Matter movement wouldn't make that big spread if it was for white people in it. So throughout time, throughout earth, you have good white people. Look, I have good black people too. You know what? Most people in this earth are good people. Most people in this earth are good people. It no matter what part of the world you come from. Most people on this earth are good people. And most of them will do the right thing. So this brother right here, I really take off my hat to him. He's a reformed white supremacist, right? And racist man. He was raised like that. Him just born into that. That's what him see around him when father tell him, you know, all this thing when here around in a group and growing up around you, that was okay. And no, him grew up and now, him have a different perspective. And for a white brother come out right now batting for us, he said before him dead, he want to change it. Is that possible? I don't know, but hey, him word is going out. He was talking before an audience, right? And him teach white people, so him like him go around and speak. So if you don't get everybody, if Russ right here can get one handful of people is doing a good job. One handful at a time, people will listen to you, brother. And I really take up my hat to you for your honesty and the education where you give me and my people this morning, because we on the outside, we're not in that white supremacy. We don't know nothing. We don't know how they feel about us. We didn't know that our here is a problem. We didn't know that how this and that is a problem. Some of we know still, but Jesus! People, when you speak, everything, people. If you say, oh, it was named. They say white people are named, they think about even the name. They give them kids. So they're not mistaken from the people who come from the bad part, which is where the black people live. Instead, the black people live at the spot, what the black people, they would call it the bad part. They would talk about black people on food stamp and stuff like that. But his father was on food stamp. They was talking about the bad part, but his father was selling dope. So yeah, and on food stamp. But he said his father think that he have the rights because he work hard and know the black people that didn't work. So it's kind of lopsided. In reality, there are more white people in this country on food stamps than there are black people. That's true. Most black people don't even know how to use the system effectively. I'm telling you, a lot of black people here, you don't know how to use the system like white people. No. And if you show up at the same window where a black man said get an answer no, you get a yes if you have a different complexion, and that's truth. And that's what Brother Russell right here is talking about. This is what Brother Russell right here is speaking about. You understand me? Like I said, his name is Russell Ellis. Man come from North Carolina, in the hills, man come from North Carolina, and where racism was the hard of the day, family. It was casual, it was culture, and nothing that fear man that use the N-word. There was nothing I feel no way about it. It's like to hate you and I want to see you, black man, is nothing. So even to string up on the tree, that might be nothing too, because if you come from a certain place and you look at a certain people a certain way, even if you inflict a certain pain to certain people, it don't matter. What he's talking about right now, when he was in it, he never see nothing wrong with that. You understand me? All him talk about it, him know it from he was there. So that's why him can come out now using knowledge of knowing all these things and come out and fight against these things that is separating us and causing this nonsense. Let love be the order of the day. There's a reason why God put you on earth, different colors. You got the white, the black, the Chinese, the Indian. There's a reason why God put you on earth. I would like to wake up in a world where we only see black people. Honestly, I would not want to wake up in a world where there are only black people. Like, seriously. I don't the type of world they want to wake up in. No, man. We want to see everybody too, man. That's why earth is so beautiful. Different shape, different size, different tone. Just like the trees, different branches, different leaves, different shape. Some trees short, some trees tall, some trees skinny, some trees fat. The animal of the jungle, long-necked giraffe and big fat elephant. That's how God made this earth. He don't make all the animals them look like an elephant. So, I mean, he don't make all of we look like a black man or all of we look like a white man. We mix up too, and that's the beauty of this earth. So we must know to coexist. Because guess what? The white man not going away, no? The black man not going away. The Chinese man not going away. The Indians not going away. So we better know, learn how to live good and cohabitate upon this earth that God give us to be ruler over everything, Panya. But it seems as if the animal are doing a better job than us. Animal kill for territory and food. We just kill for anything. Just because we can't do it. So the monkeys looking at us like, these guys are stupid. I don't know why God give them dominion over us. God should have given us dominion over human being, because look what they're doing. They're destroying the earth. They're building bombs. They're killing. Can you imagine the monkeys in the trees attack to one another? I don't know what I'm saying. They wish God had given them dominion over us because they would have done a better job to Mother Earth than us. Because all we seem to want to do is hate each other, kill each other. We overfish, we overlog, we build disease and viruses, we build bomb, we build weapon, we build a lot of destruction to this earth. Poison the water, the air, the land. So imagine the monkey them in the tree, have a family meeting. Billy said the monkey man said, boy, those human beings are stupid. I don't know why God give them dominion over us. But anyway, people, as usual, I love me, I preach to each and every one on this earth. That's why we are here. Yeah? The couple of my white brethren and sister in them, I love you. Want to know that too. Right? All right. So, as usual, family, I am a student in our class, So make sure the comments make sense in every sentence. If it is the first time on this platform you like, what we do? Go ahead and click the subscribe button and join this family. You don't feel like do that now. You want to see if your finger work. You can always come back later, come do that. If you dare not like what we do, don't come over here, come start no trouble. Just press a button. You don't have to see the page again. Thank you anyway for watching this video. Share this video, people, to like-minded people like you and I, so they can hear this stuff. Because a lot of people now hear this stuff, They don't know what going on, they go sit down and sit down and talk. I saw that besides, but hold on there. How about to hear from one of the man who did over there? Yeah, hear from the horse's mouth. Oh, come on, come tell me. How them think about me? While he was there, he was thinking about me. That's why I see him come out with all this stuff. And he's seeking change. They hold us back in so many ways. Him know that. That the man tell me, That the man tell me all the system is systematic. When you talk about systematic racism, and that the man talk about, the stuff that hold us back, The stuff have been embedded and ingrained in these here parts of the world before we born, So like him say, him father was the same mindset. It come from down there, so he have the same mindset. And when him grew up of the same mindset, if he don't snap out of it, he not gonna teach him son them the same mindset. So he's worried about the young youth them who are come up and I think the same way. Hateful and negative. Jaja. Give thanks to Russell Ellis. Yeah, he's a reformed white supremacist. His mission is to end racism and teach white people how to deconstruct racism. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Share it with somebody. Very important video. Respect.